Hello and welcome. I am your host of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Author Karen E. Osborne. I have five novels out. The latest is Justice for Emerson. I am so glad that you're here. This is a space for readers and writers to come together and talk about books. Oh, it is so nice to invite a writer friend back. You met Lucille. I don't know, it's been like 18 months maybe. Was
Yeah, it's a good year,
yeah,
a solid year.
at
Yeah.
least a solid year ago. And she has a new book out, and today's publication day. Hey, Lucille,
Hi, Karen. It's always nice to see you.
it is good to see you, and I'm really excited for us to talk about Lunch Tales, Teagan. So before we jump in, tell us a little bit about your background. Just give our audience, maybe they missed I hope they didn't, but perhaps they missed the first one. So if you could just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I've always written and journals and stories and short stories, and of course, most of them wound up in drawers, as I grew up. But I did it because I just enjoyed it. It was a hobby, and I enjoyed it. It was also very therapeutic, I thought.
Hmm.
Writing. And then, of course, life got busy and crazy and all kinds of things. And my children, everything, I was involved with them. So then I finally decided that it was time to maybe, take it more seriously and try to get some stuff published. So that's when it started. And it really started in my 60s. That's when I really started to take it really much more seriously. And it's been great. It's been such a journey, so fun, so much fun.
So fun. I'm like you. I started in my 60s and I got serious in my 60s.
Right,
Wrote all
right.
my life, but got serious in my 60s. And it's just, and being a grandma is easier than being a mom.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
definitely.
love my kids to death. Grandkids are just plain fun.
Mm-hmm. They are the best.
Gives us a little bit more time. So the Lunch Tale series you started out in historical fiction with
Hmm.
Elizabeth's Mountain, which was a Amazon bestseller, multi-award winning hit. And then you decided to do Lunch Tales. And Lunch Tales Suellen came out and got really did well, doing well. People really love the characters. And now you have Lunch Tales Vegan in the second book of this series. So tell our audience about the setting, the premise.
So Elizabeth Mountain, first of all, is yes, it's American historical romance, but it's also contemporary. So it's both. When I did Lunch Tales, it actually started out, when I first wrote it and drafted it, I should say, it was about four women and their points of view. But after I read the first draft, I realized that each of these women were so much more than a few pages. They needed their own book. I mean, they were complicated, and it got more complicated as I wrote about them. And so I realized that they each needed their own books, and that's when the Lunch Tales series was born, basically. So Lunch Tales Suellen is about her story and her point of view. Lunch Tales Teagan is completely her story and her point of view. Now, both women, all the women are in each other's books, but it's their story, their point of view. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, so Teagan and Suellen, so you met Teagan in Suellen's book.
hmm.
That's when you first meet her. So you already, if you have, and you wouldn't have not have had to have read Suellen first, but if you had read Suellen, you would know that Teagan was struggling with trying to have a baby. She had infertility issues, and she couldn't have children and was trying, and she had gone to see doctors. She tried the IVF, all kinds of things. And so she was pretty down in Suellen's book, and Suellen was her best friend. So there's a lot of conversation that goes on there. But at the end of Suellen's book, Teagan finally, and now she's decided that she's going to go by way of adoption.
Mhm.
And nowadays, adoption is mostly open. She does, and she finds at the end of Suellen's book, she finds out that she's been matched with a woman, a mother, who's going to adopt her little child. He's a biracial boy, and it starts out Teagan's book. So Teagan's book starts out when she's already got her son. He's like a year and a half old, and she's it's a beautiful summer day, and she's pushing him in a stroller, and life is good. But then something horrible happens, very tragic. Her husband dies very suddenly in a tragic accident. And so basically that is the story of Teagan, um, how she goes on being a single mom. Now she's, finds herself a single mom, and she's different than Sue Ellen in many respects. She had a different family life than Sue Ellen, but they're very close friends. Sue Ellen's family was Suellen is part Jewish and part Anglo-Saxon, whereas Teagan is Irish, and so she's from a big Irish family. So there's a lot of her family in there and her friends where they're helping and supporting her through this. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about a little bit more about Tegan as a person. Like,
yeah.
what do you admire about her?
So Teagan, unlike Suellen, who was, I would say, probably feisty, sassy, and very complicated. Teagan is not as complicated. She's practical. She's warm. She's someone you want to have as your friend. She's the kind of person that you know you can trust. She's loyal, um, and so she's also very sensitive. So she's very different than Sue Ellen, and so when she had her past comes up. Actually, her brother. Now her family's very close, Irish, very close. Her brother is the chief of police, and one of his guys is somebody she used to date, Luke, way
Yes.
back in high school. We're talking 20 years ago now. He was her first love, really. Of course, then he was older than her. He went off to college. He was a football star. All this stuff happens to him, which is it goes into the book, is in the book. And then and she finds herself she finds herself a widow, and he finds himself a divorcee. And so here we are.
So what do you like about Luke as a character? What are some of his characteristics that you admire?
So Luke is he's steady, he's dependable, he's loyal. The He is also very vulnerable because he's had he's gone through a divorce. His first marriage failed. So, you always have that feeling like, I failed at something that was very important to me, and it didn't work out. He does have a child. His child is 5, a little girl. Of course, he splits up the time with her with his ex-wife. So he ends up coming back into her life, but he comes back into her life because he first of all because he wants to help her. He sees that she needs help in different areas, and so he doesn't come on strong. But as time goes on, the chemistry is there, and it's honestly the funny thing about writing Teagan is that I didn't, I'm a pantser, so when I'm writing, I have no idea where it's going to go half the time. I just hope that it gets there. And as I'm writing this, I'm thinking, wow, these two, they got chemistry. So I would have to say that of all my books, Tegan's is probably the most sensual. It calls for it. It just called for it.
Those two just clicked, huh?
And they wrote it after that. From there on, they wrote it. And I just followed their lead. But it was
Love
it was
that. I
fun.
love that. Like you, I'm a pantser, so I totally
It was fun,
get
right?
that.
It definitely was
I'm in a writing group um and I'm with several plotters
fun.
and they're reading my latest book that's coming out and they say, you know, it's not finished. I'm like you, I'm writing, and who knows what's going to, and they literally asked me, they said, well, Karen, how's she going to get away? I said, like, she's got to figure something out.
I know.
No,
I know. I wonder if plot, I will often wonder if plotters have an easier time because they have it all outlined and they know exactly what's going to happen. But at the same time, when you're a pantser, I mean, things happen that you don't expect, and sometimes it can be really great, you know. So
exactly. I'm with you. I'm not going to become a plumber.
I tried. I actually tried it. It didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. Yeah.
So today is publication day. Are you working on the third book?
I did I have notes. I keep a folder when I start a new
Mm,
book and I just throw notes in it and it's like until I get it organized and different things and ideas that I have for it. And I think I have a pretty good idea where I would go with Lunch Tales. That would be the next one would be Carolyn, who's or Caroline, who's they're also their friend. She's a very different character. She's also their friend. They all work at the same big dynamic law firm, and which is where they all met and became friends, and now they all have children. So it's going to be a little
mm.
different. They all have children and grown up, and they get together after work hours with their kids, and it's a whole different dynamic. But I am working on it, but it's in very, very early stages because I don't know if you know, I have another book coming out in 4 months from now. So I have a lot going on right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Tell us about that.
Well, that one is a sequel to Elizabeth Mountain, a standalone sequel to
Yeah.
Elizabeth Mountain. And so yeah, that's coming out in May. So I have a lot going on. So that's another idea I have. I may do another Lunch Tales book or I may do a prequel to Elizabeth's Mountain. Um, because Elizabeth and Joe in Elizabeth's Mountain were characters that people really, really resonated with
Yes.
and really liked. So I'm
Yes.
thinking I might do something like that. So that's another idea I have. Again, these are
So
ideas.
the new book in May,
Mhm.
what's that one about? Just
Uh,
briefly.
Yeah, sure. That one's just so I had to introduce new characters to this book. Again, I wasn't planning on a sequel to Elizabeth's Mountain. That was going to be a one and done. But because it got such a great response, people were asking me, "Oh, you've got to do a sequel. You got to do a sequel." And then I said, "Okay, let me think. How can I get everybody back there again?" And then I figured it out. It took some time and a few months. But I introduced some new characters, a young girl actually who's 23, who's going through a trauma, and she needs to get away. Well, I won't say too much. And to get away, where does she go? To Elizabeth Mountain. She takes a job there as a nanny for Elizabeth's granddaughter, who now has inherited the house, the you know the big farmhouse on the mountain on the hill which was her grandmother's. And so she has a child, she's getting having a baby, and this girl is gonna be her nanny, and a lot of stuff goes on. But understand that that story, when I was writing it, was taking place in present day, which was 2024, and then Helene hit. And as I'm writing it, I'm 70% done and I'm with it and I know where I'm going with it. And I'm like, oh no, like I have to take a hard turn here. So it set me back about 5 months because I was interviewing people, that were living through the Hurricane
Oh,
Helene.
Helene, yeah.
And so I actually, it came together. Thank goodness it came together quite well, but I did have to take a hard turn in the story. So you never
Wonderful,
know.
though. I
This is
mean,
the
not
pantser. This is the
the
pantser for you.
hurricane isn't wonderful, but it's
Yeah.
exactly right that and things doors open for us and something else says no. I had a character who actually told me that I had gotten her all wrong. She was upset with me.
But this
She
is real
said,
life. I mean, right? And that's what I write. I write realistic fiction, and it happened, and so I had to address it.
you had to incorporate it. I
Yeah.
love it. So
Yeah.
you've got a new book just coming out today, and then in May you have a second book. So you have to So come back when the new book comes out, when the second book comes
Thank
out.
you. Thank you so much. Thank
That
you.
would be wonderful. So have you read anything recently that you could recommend to our audience?
Oh, I'm always reading constantly. And I'm all over the place with my reading. I don't
Hmm.
stick to one genre. I like to change it up. So let me think. Recently, well, actually, I'm reading. Well, here's Lunch Tales too, and I've got, my cover here.
Oh, yes, look at that. Look at that. And I
And
meant to
she does
say,
she look Irish? Yeah.
she does, and it's a great cover. And I did want to say to our audience that even though you're writing sequels, all of your books are
Oh,
standalone,
yes.
but you do better. You'll find it so much more entertaining and good if you start at the beginning, that you read Elizabeth's Mountain and that you read Lunch Tales Suellen and then read it. But it's okay. It's fine if you don't do that. Right?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you for the plug. This is, believe it or not, I'm reading this one right now. Very different genre for me. The Blackest Time, which is about the Black Plague in Italy. Good story. And this is what's his by Ken Tentarelli of Black Rose. Good story. And I'm actually at the part of the plague. Whew. Talk about real life, right? Um,
Yes, yes.
Let me think what else. Oh gosh, recently I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? I read A Fine Layer of Dust by Barbara Conrad. Just finished that. Beautiful
Oh,
book.
she's so
Isn't
good.
she?
She
Um,
is so, I love her.
and that's a great book. It's about surrogacy and what it does to this family. Very, very good book. Very good story. I just read The Priest of Tintagel. That was Pamela Taylor. Now we're going back to medieval times. I told you I'm all over the place.
She has like 14 in a series or 17 or something. She
This
has,
one's not in the series. I think this one is a
oh, it's
standalone,
a
completely
standalone.
separate. I
Oh,
think
okay.
it's very good. Also really good. In fact, I like that one so much. I know my husband would enjoy it, so I bought the book to give him, for Christmas. Yeah. I know he'll like that one.
Very sweet. Well, this has been such a fun conversation. Everybody is so interested in being able to keep up with you. So, first of all, people, you can find all of her books wherever you buy books. If you buy them on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, your local independent store, Target, wherever you go, you can, and if you don't see it, just ask for it. And of course, in the libraries. And if you don't see it, ask for it. But how can they be in touch with you?
My website is www.lucilleguarino.com, and all my contact information is on my website. So everything, and I always keep it updated, so you can always get in touch with me there. And it's always up to date, so that's the
You
best
can
way.
find out all about her. You can find out about her books. You can see where she's going, where she's going to show up, all of that. So www.lucilleguarino.com.
That's right. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. And when you do get in touch with her, I know you know the drill. Please tell her that you met her on What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Have a great week, everybody. Thanks, Lucille.
Bye bye, Karen. Thank you.